think we'll kick things off. First, welcome everyone to our Alibi Security Brivo launch webinar. We're very excited to share this partnership with you and to help get you all sort of educated on what we're doing, the Brivo product line, the program we're building together, and helping to grow your access control business. So thank you for joining us. So before we start, a few introductions. My name is George Farley. I run marketing here at Alibi Security. And I've been sort of leading the conversations and development of this partnership with Brivo. Also presenting today is Bryce Brendan. He's our Director of Cloud Technologies. If you have sold cloud video surveillance with Alibi, you most likely have worked with Bryce. Bryce runs our team here of specialists that focus on cloud technologies. So Alibi Cloud VS and now Brivo Cloud. Also presenting today is Dan Katz. Dan is VP of Enterprise and Alliances with Brivo. What that means is he's been on point for developing this relationship with Alibi. We've worked together on all aspects of the partnership, on building the program together. And for all of us, it's not just through launch, it's through the life of the partnership. So Dan is very involved with the day-to-day, with supporting our needs, supporting the needs of our dealers. So many of you, if you're involved with as a reseller of the Brivo product line through Alibi, you're going to be working with Dan as well, and his team is here to support you. So we've got a big agenda today. So we're going to try to get through this as quick as we can, but wanted to give you a full scope of the relationship and what to expect. So quick agenda. I'm going to say a few words about the partnership. We'll talk about the reseller program. Dan is going to present Brivo Cloud Access Control Solution. Afterwards, Bryce will talk to some of the RMR opportunities, certainly meaningful and important to you. We'll walk through some of the sales and marketing tools that we've developed for you, and then the application and activation processes, right? We've made it really simple for you to get started with us. And finally, we'll talk a few minutes about what's next. So how to continue your education with us and continue to grow your access control business. As far as Q&A, we've got a tight schedule. I ask if you have any questions, please enter those in chat. We are going to probably follow up with answers to those questions after the webinar, just to make sure that one, we get the answers you need, and two, we deliver those to everyone. So please enter. We'll be recording those questions and we'll follow up with you after the webinar. So before we get started with the rest of the content, I really wanted to say a few words about the Brivo partnership, because it truly is unique. As most of you know, Brivo does not sell through distribution, right? They bring their products to market directly through the dealer channel and support those relationships directly. In fact, Alibi is the first reseller partner for Brivo in the United States, and we're very proud of that. So why Alibi, right? You know, in conversations with Brivo, they recognize that we're not a traditional distributor, right? We invest in the support of our dealers, and we're very invested in a positive experience for the end user, something that's very important to Brivo. So we're very aligned in that goal as companies, and we felt it was a great partnership there. As for Alibi, to be honest, you know, we've been really interested in the Brivo technology for quite some time. Not only is it best-in-class access control, it's a cloud-based solution. It integrates with our cloud video surveillance solution, Alibi Cloud VS. And our dealer partners have been asking for this solution by name for quite some time. So we're really excited to bring this to you. So this conversation started, Dan, almost a year ago, right? Working with Brivo to talk about how we can build this partnership and make it meaningful to all of us. And we're really, pleased to introduce this program to you today. So we're calling it Brivo Accelerate. And honestly, we needed to name the program something. And the goal is not to just offer you a product and hope that, you're effective in selling it. It's more to accelerate growth of your access control category and invest as two companies in that growth. So a few features and benefits, right, of the program. On the left, right? So Brivo resellers through Alibi have unlimited access to the Brivo product line. So whether it's products, subscriptions, services, third-party products, we have full access to that product line. You can buy that through Alibi, right? Comparable pricing. It was really important to us that Alibi and Brivo were not advantaged or disadvantaged in any way, right, in terms of the offering. So we literally offer the same price. If you buy it from Brivo or Alibi, you have access to the same products at the same price. Also important to us was direct access to the Brivo team. So if you haven't engaged with Brivo before, they really are world-class when it comes to content, training, technical support. I mean, they take a lot of pride in that, and they have a great reputation there. And in doing business through Alibi, we didn't want to limit your access to their team. So you will have complete access directly to the Brivo team for content, training, and technical support. In addition, right, Alibi brings you dedicated account management, right? And Bryce's team of solution specialists. So Bryce has a team that's growing. We're adding resources to support Brivo as well, specifically, but they're here to support every need, right? Whether it's your education, demos with your partners, supportive projects, Bryce's team is here to support you. And finally, most of you are probably familiar with Alibi Arsenal, right? Our sales and marketing tools. We've created an entire suite of tools and capabilities specifically to support the Brivo line. And we'll get to some of that in a minute. So that's Brivo Accelerate, and really a program that's supported by both Alibi and Brivo to support the growth of your access control business. Dan, I'm going to hand off to you if you wanted to walk through access control.
Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for taking the time to learn a little bit about Brivo today. Again, my name is Dan Katz. I'm the Vice President of Enterprise and Alliances at Brivo. I've been with the company for almost 10 years. I've sat in almost every seat in the sales organization. And it's been a complete honor and privilege to work with the Alibi team to this point. I'm really looking forward to meeting each of you and working with you all and getting to know everybody. So today, my goal is to provide a high-level overview of Brivo so that you walk away from this having a good understanding of the solution, but of course, there's always more to learn. And there's a lot of interesting things and different ways to present Brivo. So I'm looking forward to providing high level today and getting to know everybody. So George, if you don't mind going to the next slide. Thank you. So Brivo is a 22-year-old company where we came to the market as a cloud-based access control manufacturer in 1999. And if you fast forward to today, we're an access control provider, but we like to look at ourselves as a company that actually provides more than just access control. Because we're built in the cloud, your customers are going to be able to marry your access control platform with other companies through our open API. So we focus on access control in the cloud, but we also have integrations with identity management, video integration through Alibi VS Cloud, which we'll talk about in a little bit more detail. And then we also have data analytics in the system. So the access control platform is interesting, but as we progress through the time in the market, people want more information on how their spaces are being used. So Brivo is going to be able to provide you with not just security, but data analytics. It's an open platform that's cloud-based. So, you're installing these systems, and for your customers, they're always on the latest version of the system. It's cyber secure. There's only one port that needs to be open on the network, which is port 443 outbound. And you're putting them on a platform that is going to give them the ability to manage their system from anywhere. So Brivo is a very powerful access platform that's just more than access control. George, if you go to the next slide. So to date, Brivo, since 1999, we've been in the market as cloud-based access control exclusively through the channel. We, to this day, have around 425,000 doors online. We protect over 450 million square feet of real estate, and we're in over 50,000 accounts, end user accounts, and those accounts could have multiple sites. Because Brivo really only requires an internet connection to the panels, which I'll take you through in a few minutes, they can be put online in any country. So you're plugging the panel into the internet, you're logging into a web browser to manage the system. Your customer's logging into a browser or an app to manage the system. So wherever there's internet, Brivo could be deployed. So we're in over 70 countries globally, and growing throughout the world. Next slide. So now we're going to get into Brivo solutions a little bit in detail. The first slide I just want to go through is Brivo Access. So Brivo Access is the name of the actual user interface software that Brivo goes to market with. It's cloud-based, so you're going to log into a web browser. You put your username and password in as an end user, and you're logging into the platform. You're always on the latest version of the system because the software is in the cloud. And when you log into the system, you're going to be able to see all of your sites. So you could have an unlimited amount of sites, for one end user in the platform. And Brivo is really good for customers with multiple sites because all you have to do is have these panels connected to the internet. Then you're marrying all the panels into one interface. We won't do this today, but I would in the future, and we're going to talk about some future training sessions that we're going to run. But I will look forward to providing you with demos of Brivo, walking you through the software and the power of the Brivo Access platform. And just for you, we're going to go into the apps in a little bit more detail, but the user interface that you use on the web browser, we have an app that you could do a lot of these things in the app as well. So you can manage the system from anywhere, as long as you have internet from your phone or from your computer. So it's a really powerful tool that our customers are very happy to have that. And it's cyber secure. Next slide. So Brivo and Alibi Cloud VS integrate together. So I'll just give you a high-level overview of the integration, and we can talk more in detail on our next presentation. Brivo access control events, so a card swipe it connects to the Alibi VS video footage. So in the activity log, you're able to marry access control events with video clips. You're also able to view live video from your phone or your computer. And while I'm watching that live video, I can press a button and open the door. So the two systems integrate together, which gives a really powerful solution, that end users really like because they want to be able to connect their cameras to their doors. It's a perfect marriage in the security space. I'm going to go to the next slide, please. But then, as we said, the multiple site capabilities of Brivo is really important. As Brivo's a really good fit for companies with multiple sites. We're good for a customer with one site, but a cloud platform is really, really powerful for a customer with multiple sites. And in the software, we've created different feature sets for customers with multiple sites. You're able to create notes. You're able to look at your sites on a map. You're able to see all your sites on a tree. You can unlock doors remotely from the interface. There's also anomaly detection built into the system. So if someone's walking into a door during a certain time that they don't normally walk into, that could be flagged. Notifications. So the system could text or email. You can set up notifications. The system will text or email you really for anything in the system. If anything specifically happens, you can decide. And then the thing I want to also just say here is that you have admin. Your ability, you can dictate exactly what each administrator can do and see when they log into the system. So, for example, you have a customer, you have 7 sites on this screen. Maybe one of the customers in Oregon can only manage one site. You could give them access to that just one site, and then give the person, in New York access to all the sites. So Brivo gives you the ability to really decide granularly exactly what each person can do and see when they log into the system. So more to come on that, but I think it's an important thing to call out. George, if you want to go to the next slide. And then we're going to talk about the apps in a little bit more detail, but just want to call out that Brivo has a lockdown feature right from your phone. So you as the partner can, and the end user for that matter, can dictate what a lockdown means to them for the customer. And when you press that lockdown button, whatever way you program the lockdown to work will lock down those doors. So that's a powerful tool in the security world, of course. Next slide, George. Let's talk about the hardware from a high level. So Brivo's strategy with hardware is really have different form factors based off of really what the security space uses. We have form factors that start at a one-door controller. We have a form factor that's a controller and reader built into one where you have PoE at the door. We have a 2-door controller, which is that white box in the middle. That's a 2-door controller. It could be powered by PoE plus. And then we have our more traditional main board, door board architectures where that main board you see in the top right next to the camera, that main board controls 2 doors, and then for every 2 doors after that, you have a small door board that connects to that main board. And that main board can do up to 30 doors off of it. Now, keep in mind, the only thing this needs is an internet connection. So these panels could be scattered throughout a building. You could have a 2-door controller at the front door, front 2 doors, maybe you have 10 doors in the back of the office. You could have one of these main board, door board scenarios in the back of the office, and they're not connected to each other. They're just connected to the internet. Could be a DHCP connection up to the cloud. And some of these panels have Wi-Fi built into them. So if you can't get a Cat5 directly to the panel, you can marry the SSID to the panel and go up to the cloud using Wi-Fi. The other thing I just want to make sure everybody's aware of is the next to that 2-door controller in the middle, you see a little cellular device. This is really good for gates and for places where internet's hard to get. We offer a cellular device that plugs right into the panels that provides that panel with internet up to the cloud. That could be used as the main source of internet, or it could be used as a redundant internet connection. So if the internet goes out, kicks in and brings it up to the cloud. I think the number one question I get throughout the last decade of selling Brivo is what happens if the internet goes out. All the panels have local storage. So if the internet goes out, everything will still work. You can still swipe into the doors. You can still get into the doors. When the internet kicks back in, all of the events that occurred are going to go up to the cloud and update into the cloud. So the panel will still work if the internet goes out. George, next slide, please. In this day and age, mobile is a really good way to sell the access control platform. Brivo has a strong mobile solution, a few different solutions. I'll walk you through it from left to right. So the first is your mobile pass. The mobile pass is that line item I discussed in the beginning where we've sold 3 million of these in the market. This is a mobile credential. So simply the end user presses a button to open the door. So they could have a fob, they could have a card, they could keep using it, but we also offer card readers with Bluetooth and NFC built into them. So you have the app on the phone, you press the button if you're using Bluetooth, or you put your phone right up to the reader if you have NFC, and the door opens. So that's a mobile credential. We can get into that in more detail in the future, and we will, because it's a really great product that people really like. The next picture is your resident experience. That's going to be for your multifamily customer, where they're able to control their thermostat from their apartment, turn the lights on, etc. So managing the system in your apartment with our Z-Wave gateway solution. Keep going down. The third from the left is going to be your app where you actually manage the system. So you're able to create users, delete users, suspend users, watch cameras, unlock doors, view activity logs, do a lockdown. So that's going to be your app where the administrator is actually managing the system. We have an app for doing actual installations, and I won't get into this in too much detail, but I just want to say from a high level, Brivo, the way you install a Brivo system is you log into your backend partner portal, you create the account, you log into the account, you look at the control panel ID numbers on the panels, there's a CP number on it. You put the CP number into the user interface, you plug it into the internet, and it phones the cloud. So it's a plug and play installation. And then the last phone that you see on the right is our partnership with Apple and Google. And that's NFC. So the first phone, you press the button and the phone communicates to the door via Bluetooth. You have to press the button. The last phone you're looking at is NFC, and you're just putting the phone up to the door. You're going to see your Google or your Apple Wallet pop up, and the door opens, which is a newer solution to the market, but it's really, really taking off. Next slide, please. And just to take this one step further, so with Apple and Google, you're simply putting your phone up to the door or your watch. And in milliseconds, the door is going to open. What's cool about, Apple, for example, is if your phone runs out of battery, Apple has, it's kind of like a battery that we don't really know about that stays on for a handful of hours after the phone dies. So you can still open the door with your phone, even if the phone runs out of battery. And just keep in mind, you still can use a fob and a card for that reader. So it's some of the time it's a supplementary credential, but people really like the experience. It's a really nice experience, and I look forward to walking you through it individually. Next slide. A new solution Brivo released is called Brivo Door Station, and that's going to be facial recognition as a credential. Right now, it's really best for inside, like an inside solution. We are working through an outdoor solution, but from a really high level, you walk up to the door, it sees your face, which is preloaded into the Brivo system, and the door opens. Next slide. So Brivo really, we want to provide our customers with more than just security. Access control is in some ways a utility, and it's needed in a lot of different, customer verticals. But to take it one step further and give the customers and the end users more value in their system, we believe that data insights and analytics are really important. And those are things that Brivo has put into our user interface and are continuing to focus on. From a high level, we have some data analytics in the user interface where we're comparing this week versus last week's activity. We have a AI function that takes the best picture of the person, and you like with the video, it's called snapshot, and you could search the person's name in snapshot and it just shows the person's face and when they walked into the door. Again, we have the anomaly detection where it starts to understand their behaviors and tell you if they walked in during a time that they normally don't walk into. Then there's a few other tabs in the interface which we can go into in more detail, but it's like prefabricated data analytics pages for different roles and different organizations that are going to serve the person data on what we have interviewed, what they care about as an end user. As our next training, we'll definitely dive into those interfaces in more detail because they're very powerful. And Brivo is focusing on more AI, a very important topic in this day and age. So from being in the market as a cloud provider for 20 years, we are positioned really well to continue to innovate in the AI space. Next slide. So this is my last slide, and I know it is an eyeful. I think that what I'd like to just say, like to conclude this, is that, for the customer looking at Brivo, we're going to market as an access control platform, but really behind the scenes, there are a lot of different features and options that you can present to your customers regarding Brivo. So I look forward to working with all of you. I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. All right, Bryce, did you want to cover some of the RMR opportunities?
I would love to. Thanks, George. Thanks, Dan. Hey, good morning, everyone. We were really excited about this partnership. Like George mentioned, we've kind of been dying to share this with you all for quite some time now. One of the most exciting things about this partnership is that really both of our companies, both Alibi and Brivo, are very heavily invested in enabling our dealers to grow their business. And more specifically, now more than ever, we've been very focused on helping our dealers grow their RMR base. And we've done this a couple of different ways. One of them is through just a host of really powerful technology partners that help you meet the evolving needs of your customers, right? So Brivo is certainly a part of that list. Brivo's technology, as you get into it and start learning more about it, it's very powerful. It's powerful enough that you actually are going to have not just one, but multiple RMR opportunities on every single project that you sell. So your typical Brivo install, you're going to have door subscriptions, but then you're also going to have something, let's say like a mobile credential through the Brivo Mobile Pass. You could utilize the video integration and actually have an RMR path by utilizing Alibi Cloud BS. So right there, you've got 3 for a typical Brivo installation. But then also, there's so much to the Brivo technology that extends beyond the typical install. Again, that just really helps you, meet complex customer needs. And let's say, for example, something like a single sign-on, right, through the identity connector, or a cellular service like Dan was talking about as a backup solution. There's all these different things that you can layer on to the typical Brivo install. And each thing that you do layer on is actually another RMR opportunity for you as the integrator. So just really, really powerful stuff. Now, go ahead and go to the next slide, George. So the support structure that we've stood up around this partnership extends well beyond just the technology itself. So we've got a couple of different things we've stood up to help this be as smooth of a experience for you as the integrator as possible. One of them is we actually have, Brivo offers a training service actually for your customers. So they will actually help you kind of minimize the load on your team to get ramped with this product. And it provides so much, value to the customer. You really are going to see each customer be very self-sufficient. It's a very intuitive software. So your support calls and training investment should go down pretty heavily. And then also a part of that call is each member of the Brivo team that's going to be providing this training is actually very good at identifying customer needs that may have been missed during the sales process, then actually coming back and solving for those needs with some of those add-on services that we were talking about on the previous slide. So it's kind of a win-win, right? The customer is getting their problem solved in a very clean way from the Brivo team. You're not having to go have that conversation. It's just really, really clean. Something on the Alibi side that we do offer as well is just really kind of a turnkey, low effort marketing solution as well. So as you would imagine, we have a lot of content and messages built around this partnership that, are very powerful. And so what we can do with our marketing tools is we can really just help you communicate that to your customer base in a really smooth and clean way. And so George is going to cover a little bit more about the Arsenal program in the following slides, but kind of the final component of that is when you do actually get customer interest, instead of feeling like you have to go, become a cloud assassin and learn how to hard close customers and all that stuff, right? You can funnel those back right to our team. And then much like we've done over the past several years with Alibi Cloud VS, we can really help you with those conversations and help you close that business via live demonstrations, sales calls, competitive analysis. Just know that the support from the partnership, both from Alibi and Brivo, extends well beyond the tech. And really, we want to be there to help you all the way throughout the entire life cycle of your sale. George, I think I'll kick it on back to you now.
Right on. Thanks, Bryce. Yeah, I think, Bryce mentioned one thing, which is reducing the burden on our partners. And everything we're building with Brivo together, our goal is to provide you with that support if and when you need it, right? And this definitely applies to RMR and the value-added capabilities within Brivo. Our vision is actually to not only arm you with like web pages branded for you that help communicate the value of these solutions, but also, if you see the benefit in it, connect your customers directly to experts that do a very good job in educating and then converting that business. So again, reducing the burden on you and helping you grow, which is a great segue to Arsenal. So many of you are probably familiar with Alibi Arsenal, right? It's an evolving platform that we've built that helps basically take our content and brand it for you in many different forms, right? We've already built a library of assets to support your Brivo business. It is actually available to all of you today. So as you activate, we turn these on for you and you're off and running. A few of the categories that I'll talk about today. So a branded microsite. Many of you might have experienced this with Alibi Cloud VS. So we created basically a website, like soup to nuts, everything you need to promote Brivo to your customers, right? We maintain that. We add content to it. It includes data sheets, case studies, everything you need to educate your customer base. The best thing about it is it's branded for you, right? So it makes it really simple for you as a reseller of this technology to stand up this category, right? It's as simple as adding a link on your site that talks about your access control solution and linking to this branded microsite, or adding a graphic on your website, right? We make content available to you if you want to do that lift on your own, but we also make it in a turnkey way, branded for you, and we funnel any opportunities back to your sales team. So we'll definitely in the follow-up give you guidance as to where to look at the demo site and where to access that microsite if you're an Alibi dealer today. Number two, branded resources, right? So one of the, I think, value to every dealer who is part of our Alibi Arsenal program are branded resources. Every resource that we have in support of Brivo's offering is available through your microsite. You can download that. It brands it for you. It promotes your logo, your business, your contact information, right? So that helps in a lot of ways. It obviously connects that end user directly back to you, and it helps build your brand and promote your brand, right? And it certainly helps you stand out from the competition. So great tool to use, again, available to everyone free of charge, and available today. So it gets you started right out of the gates. Last, I'll talk about branded email campaigns. So we've taken what, the content that you'd want to promote Brivo features and benefits to your customers, and we've created email templates with those. Very simple for you to come online, upload your contacts, select a template, and hit send, right? That goes to your customers, branded for you, promoting the Brivo feature and benefits, and then funneling back to your sales team or back to your branded web pages. So turnkey capabilities we've built for you to help grow your access control business. Oh, last, we've been working with Brivo on just the concept of demoing, right? The importance of not only demoing the capabilities to you, our partners, but arming you with the tools to demo it to your customers, right? That starts with a demo kit, and Brivo is supporting a free demo kit for every one of our qualified resellers. I say it's $1,000 value. It's a monthly subscription tied to that. So this is everything you need to go and effectively demonstrate the capabilities of Brivo to your customer base. Bryce has actually been working on a standardized demo that you can leverage, right, as you face your customers. And last thing around demos, Bryce and his team very commonly get on calls with our dealers, with their customers, and help support that demo for you, right? So if you ever need it, it's very simple to set up a demo with his team and connect with his team if you need support in the field. So we've done our best to make the application process as easy as possible for you, right? It's 3 very simple steps. First is just applying, right, to become a Brivo reseller. Again, it's very simple. Really, what we need to know is, are you set up to support RMR billing, right? Recurring billing. And if you are, and you're interested in access control, right, we can enable you. That starts with a call to your dedicated account manager, or you can visit online. Any of our Brivo pages online have a link to this, but visit our Brivo welcome page, and there's applications on that page, right? Once you apply and we qualify you, right, there are 2 steps left to register. So we need to create your Brivo profile, right? We send you a link to a form online. You enter information about your business. That is tied to Brivo's systems, and it creates a profile within Brivo's database, right? So that's step 2. Once that's created, right, we can finalize our reseller agreement with you, and it starts the onboarding process. So it's very, very simple. We've onboarded many dealers to date, and it really doesn't take a lot of time, nor is it complex. We can get you started easily. Once you're finish the application process, we go to activation, right? And activation is actually managed by both of our teams. On the Brivo side, they'll call you, introduce really what it takes to, run a Brivo system. So they walk you through the partner portal, how to set up accounts, how to activate subscriptions, things like that. They register you for Brivo University. And if you haven't seen it, Brivo's got just a wealth of online training capabilities available to you as qualified Brivo resellers. They make sure your demo kit is installed and set up properly. And then they give you access to their resource center, right? So just because you're doing business with Alibi doesn't mean you don't have access to all of Brivo's resources, right? All available to you. At the same time, right, we activate you, right? So we make Brivo available through our dealer portal that you'll have access to all of our resources. We've actually created price lists specific to Brivo, a reseller guide, battle cards, right, to help you go to market targeting certain verticals. And we give you links to your Alibi Arsenal assets, right, specific to Brivo. So very simple process to get you up, running, and armed to sell Brivo. Last, what's next? So, there's a lot of, we've all referenced this, right? There's continued education to go out and effectively sell Brivo and support all the capabilities. So we'll continue that education with you. First of all, at ISC West, if you're visiting, please come to our booth. We've got a Brivo kiosk there. We have Brivo specialists there from both Brivo and the Alibi side. We're going to support our demos there. We are running educational sessions at ISC as well. From 10 to 11 o'clock on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be sending out communications about this, but join us, right? Breakfast is free. We'll walk through a deeper dive. We'll go through live demos of the capabilities, but great opportunity to meet the Brivo team and learn more about our integration together. And finally, Dan referenced this before, right? We are kicking off webinar series to tackle a whole bunch of different sort of areas of reselling the product, learning about the product, and growing your RMR. So these are a few of the topics I've got listed here. We've been collecting feedback from our teams, from our customers, and understanding what their needs are. This will be an ongoing series. Dan and his team will be there to help train, Bryce and his team as well. And we look forward to your questions. Make sure we address them through the series. So thank you again for joining us today. We are, if you can't tell, we're so excited to get started with Brivo. We've been building this for a while. We've been excited to share this for a while. I think we've invested a lot of time in trying to make it very simple for you, right? And ultimately, we just want to help you get started, right? We've got not only the tools to help you get started, but the resources that are here to support you. So please use us as your support system. And we look forward to growing your asset access control business. Thanks for joining us today.